The Colorado Rockies, believe it or not, are able to win a series, a weekend series at that, over the Milwaukee Brewers, who are one of the better teams in the National League. You love to see it. Kyle Freeland dealing on the mound today. The offense, double-digit hits, 4 runs scored. Would you look at that? It's not all doom and gloom with these Rockies. We'll break down this game for you on a Sunday afternoon going into the evening installment of your Locked On Rockies postcast. Let's get into it, folks.
You are Locked On Rockies postcast, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
It is your Locked On Rockies postcast. Hope everybody is doing well out there on this Sunday, September the 8th, the first day of football. I'm honestly going to turn this hat backwards because I don't even want to see that CU logo after what went down last night against Nebraska. For any of you guys that are interested on this very channel, Locked On Sports Denver on YouTube, you can check out the Locked On Buffs postcast from last night as Colorado was absolutely dismantled by Nebraska. The final score 28-10. And I'm double duty today. I am doing this show in the middle of the Denver Broncos game. And I'll be back at it right here on the channel once again in a couple of hours for your Locked On Broncos postcast. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, Locked On Sports Denver. That way you guys never miss an episode, whether it's Locked On Rockies, Locked On Buffs, or Locked On Broncos. I will have you guys covered throughout the course of the year, and just whenever there's games to talk about, you know where to find me, folks. But today's episode of your Locked On Rockies postcast is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. More from our friends over at FanDuel in just a moment. But all right. Woo, woo, little victory show for the Rockies. Nice series victory for them. The strikeouts are still an issue. Let's start with the offense. We'll talk about Kyle Freeland's outing here in the second segment. Collectively, the strikeouts are still an issue, but for Rocky standards today, only 6 strikeouts. So, not even close to double digits, and that's reasonable, right? To strike out 6 times in a game collectively with the lineup. But thankfully for the Rockies today, they get some good production from their offense. They get Kyle Freeland some good run support, and really just a nice clean game for the Rocks today. They improved to 54-90 on the season, which I know is not very good. But what's most impressive to me is the opponents in which they were able to take 2 out of 3 from. The Milwaukee. Well, actually, hold on 1 second. The Milwaukee Brewers, who are one of the best teams in the National League, as I had mentioned. I was just making sure they lost yesterday. Yes, they did 5-2. I was a bit caught up with the Buffs game yesterday. So I was looking at the Rockies, but I wanted to make sure that they didn't sweep this series, which would have been shocking. The fact that they even took 2 of 3 is a little bit of shocking, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, a win is a win, and good for the Rockies as they take down the Brewers in this game 4-1. Milwaukee falls to 82-61 on the season, although they are still in first place in that National League Central Division. But, at this point in the year, like I was getting ready to do the Rockies postcast, I just saw that they designated Ty Block for assignment, who just started a handful of days ago, right? The Rockies are going to get a little bit experimental with some stuff. We've talked about the youth movement. We've talked about just like the difference in lineup each day. You had Charlie Blackmon out there today. Always good to see Chuck Nasty. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, guys. Like this could very well be the last hurrah for Charlie Blackmon. There's no indication that he's for sure going to come back next season. Even if he does decide to play, it might not be with the Rockies. Although I do think if he wants to play, Dick Monfort and Charlie can come to an agreement on that. I think Dick Monfort, everybody wants to see Charlie Blackmon retire as a Rocky at this point in his career, but we're at the point where, these could be the last few games for Charlie Blackmon in a Colorado Rockies uniform. If he does indeed decide to retire or potentially move on in the offseason, we shall see. But Chuck hitting leadoff, vintage form today. 3 base hits for Chuck Nasty. You love to see that. Ezekiel Tovar added a base hit. Ryan McMahon continues to struggle, guys. 0 for 5 with a strikeout today. Michael Toglia staying hot, hitting with 2 base hits today. Brendan Rodgers also had 3 hits. Like to see that. Sam Hilliard, who delivered a 3-run home run in this game as well, cleaning up his only hit of the game, but it was a pivotal one. Jake Cave, nothing doing. Hunter Goodwin with a base hit, and Jordan Beck with a base hit as well. But Rockies once again having to play from behind. They got down early in this one, 1-0, as Rhys Hoskins was able to hit an RBI single there in the bottom half of the first inning. And, once again, what was it on Friday's postcast, where Austin Gomber got into some trouble there in the first inning, but then was able to clamp down and put forth 8 really solid innings in his last start. So the Rockies do a good job of limiting the damage there. And, Freeland with 1 out in the bottom half of the first inning. William Contreras hits a single, then gets Willy Adames to ground out, and then a throwing error, which would have gotten Freeland out of the inning by Ryan McMahon, prevents this inning from ending, and that's how Rhys Hoskins is set up for his RBI single. But as I said, nice to see Kyle Freeland limit the damage there. The Rockies did not respond in the second inning, but they were able to respond in the third inning as Hunter Goodman led off that frame with his 9th home run of the season. And Hunter, up and down. You don't really know what you're going to get from him on a game-in and game-out basis. But looking at this home run for him, it's a pretty good pitch, towards the bottom portion of the strike zone. Does a good job of sitting on it and a little bit, I don't know if I want to say out in front on it, but just does a good job of keeping his eye on the ball. And he goes with the ball and it's able to carry out to right field, just sneaks over the fence out there in right, this close to, bouncing off the wall or potentially being an out. But that was not the case as Hunter Goodman, with his 9th home run of the season. You do love to see that. And I think the most impressive thing from the Rockies today, like I said, we'll talk about Freeland's outing in the second frame here coming up in just a few minutes. But I love the fact that Colorado was able to, the pitching department at least, keep Milwaukee in check. And that allows the Rockies offense to develop a level of comfort. You don't have to press up there at the plate. You're not in that hole where you're down 3, 4, 5+ runs and you got to try to figure out a way, maybe play a little small ball, maybe a little big time swing and try to get the home run, elevate it and get it over the fence to try to get yourself back in the game. Thanks to the pitching tonight, it allowed the Rockies to be rather patient at the plate. And they cash in with a Sam Hilliard 3-run home run in the 5th inning, which proved to be, that proved to be the difference maker in this game for the Rockies. So love to see that. Ezequiel Tovar starting it off for the Rockies there in the top half of the 5th inning, his 42nd double of the season. This one to center field. And then unfortunately, Ryan McMahon ends up grounding into a double play. So, Tovar kind of sets the tone with the inning of trying to get some production going. But as I mentioned, Ryan McMahon has just really struggled since being the lone representative for the Rockies at the All-Star game, and he grounds into a double play. But then the Rockies are able to string together a couple of singles. Michael Toglia with one to left field, and then Brendan Rodgers follows up with a single of his own to right field. Toglia able to go first to third there, and that would actually be the end of the afternoon for Brewers starting pitcher Freddie Peralta. And they bring in relief pitcher Hobie Milner, to face Sam Hilliard, who's been, like I said, kind of a journeyman type of player in this Rockies organization. He's had some stints at the big league level, spent a lot of time down there in AAA with Albuquerque and whatnot. But good for Sam Hilliard. He belts his 7th home run of the season. This one also to right, the long ball, and both of them being hit to right field, which is, in the word Buddy Black, that's just baseball at this point, right? And you'll take the runs any way you can get them if you're the Rockies. But nice to see Sam Hilliard with runners on first and third. He got a ball on the lower middle portion of the plate that he just absolutely took for a ride into the stands out there in right field. A little bit of a lunging swing from Sam Hilliard. So a little similar to Hunter Goodman, a little out in front of it, but keeping the eye on the ball, keeping the bat back, and it results in a good outcome for the Rockies, as that 3-run home run was all the insurance that it was the go-ahead run and all the insurance that they would need to solidify this victory over the Milwaukee Brewers 4-1. Again, a dozen hits for the Rockies in this game. Milwaukee only had 3 hits collectively, so the Rockies pitching was on point, and you had just enough production from the offense, just enough juice to get you over that hump. and secure a quality series victory against one of the better teams in Major League Baseball right now in the Milwaukee Brewers. So you'll love to see that once again. The Rockies, unfortunately, at 54-90, but they do give a loss to the Brewers, who are down to 82-61. But as I mentioned, first place in the National League Central. This is not the Marlins. This is not the White Sox. This was a very, very quality series win for the Colorado Rockies. So hopefully a sign of things to come. I am not so sure, but let's see if the Rockies can attempt to try to finish this season on a high note, finish it on a strong note, and give the fans something to root for here down the stretch in regards to just some good, clean, winning baseball. That's what you're looking for here down the stretch if you're a Rockies fan, along with seeing what you got with some of the guys that are playing, that maybe didn't have a chance to play every day earlier this season or even in years past or even with other clubs. So we're in experimental mode of the season for the Colorado Rockies, but good stuff. All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, we will continue along with the conversation. Let's dive into the pitching performances this afternoon. Kyle Freeland once again looking good on the bump. And I'm going to start buying a little bit of stock into this, man. Kyle Freeland, the body of work for him this season post-injury has been pretty good. He had a couple of hiccups there in August, but I really like what I'm seeing out of Kyle Freeland tonight. And again, doing it against a quality lineup this afternoon in the Milwaukee Brewers. All right, let's hit that break. We'll come back and do just that right here on your Locked On Rockies postcast. Back in a few, folks. All right, you guys, let me tell you about the fine folks over at FanDuel. Oh, before I do the read, the Tennessee Titans, man. I was on the Tennessee Titans plus what did I have them? 3.5, 4.5. I forget the exact number. They were up 17-0 on the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears barely totaled over 100 yards of offense in this game, and they somehow come back to beat the Tennessee Titans. I lose my spread bet. And look, hey, that's just the way it goes. I won some good money today on the Vikings. I got some money on the Cowboys as well. Who else did I bet? The Panthers screwed me earlier today. What was the other one that I won? The Jacksonville Jaguars plus 3.5. So, I got them. Miami wins by 3, but I got that half point. That's the key number, folks. 3.5. Big difference between making those two bets at that number. But yeah, all right. Now I've been yapping. Let me tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. You've heard us talk about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Well, we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. And if that's not enough, FanDuel also has something special for our listeners this weekend. Be sure to check out FanDuel's Profit Boost in the app and use it for FanDuel's Double Your Winnings for all of Sunday, on the 8th of this month, which is today. You can do that on pregame moneyline bets. I put mine on the Denver Broncos this afternoon, and let me see if I can get a quick little score update. Bo Nix definitely looking like a rookie in that first half before I got started here on the postcast. All right, Denver's down right now 9-8. But, I liked Denver's chances in this game today. So we shall see how all of that shakes out. But, guys, Profit Boost will be live starting on Friday the 6th. And you can view that on your account page now to learn more about your boost. Visit FanDuel.com. Be sure to get involved with them. Football season is here. My favorite sport to wager on. Still plenty of baseball. Postseason coming up. Basketball and hockey on the horizon as well. If you're not betting with FanDuel, I don't know what you're doing. Be sure to check them out and let them know that Locked On Rockies sent you. Okay, welcome on back into your Locked On Rockies postcast. I am your host with the most, Aniello Piro. You can follow me on social media at Media by AP. And don't forget to subscribe to the Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. That way you guys don't miss the last few episodes of the Locked On Rockies postcast. That's sad for me to say. I actually really enjoy doing these shows, even though the Rockies have been this bad. But the shows will go on. As I mentioned here in a couple of hours, I'll give you the Locked On Broncos postcast, and I've got the Locked On Buffs postcast on lock as well. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social at Media by AP, and away we go. But all right, let's dive into Kyle Freeland's outing tonight, folks. He was dominant. And real quick, let me give you Freddie Peralta's stat line. As I mentioned, the Rockies today tallying a dozen hits, 4 runs, all of the runs coming via the long ball. and they were able to chase Freddie Peralta out of this game. He went 4 2/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, did allow 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. Who drew those walks here real quick? Hunter Goodman and Jordan Beck. So the 8 and 9 hitters for the Rockies in the lineup today are responsible for drawing those 2 walks. But, I mentioned it. They removed Freddie Peralta from the game, and the Rockies immediately, off the bat of Sam Hilliard, are able to take advantage of the pitching substitution. So you do love to see that. It was Hobie Milner, who replaced Freddie Peralta. So nice to see the Rockies with some timely at-bats there. But as I mentioned, Kyle Freeland, dominant tonight, guys, or this evening, this afternoon, whatever you want to call it. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, 1 run, it wasn't even earned, and 4 strikeouts. His ERA is at 4.97. And I think Kyle Freeland has really settled into a nice groove here down the stretch for the Colorado Rockies. And I talk about it all the time when I bring up Kyle Freeland, whether it's I guess I don't talk about it after his bad starts, but for sure after his good starts. Like, look, we don't know what the future is for German Marquez. Like, this injury thing seems a little serious. Antonio Senzatella has just not been the same pitcher for a few years now, which kind of makes Kyle Freeland by default the Rockies' number 1 pitcher. And look, Kyle Freeland, you can't use the A word, ace, right? But, Kyle Freeland, the way that he's been pitching here down the stretch, he could probably have a slot in most of these starting rotations across Major League Baseball, probably closer to 3 or 4, middle of the rotation type of guy. But what he did today was fantastic. And he's starting to look, I don't want to say like the old version of himself, but the production has been there for K-Free. Again, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 run. It was not earned today against the Milwaukee Brewers. But just taking a look at some of his recent outings as well, guys. On the 3rd of this month, the Rockies lost the game 3-0 to Atlanta, but Kyle Freeland was pretty good in that one. 5 solid innings, 6 hits allowed, 2 runs, only 1 earned, punched out 5 in that one. Back on the 28th. Whoa, what happened? I'm getting spam on my game log. That was weird. I just got like a weird ad that popped up for Xfinity. That is definitely not from Xfinity. So sorry about that, folks. But back on the 28th, again, it was like, win a free iPhone. Yeah, because I'm definitely going to get a free iPhone from a random pop-up on my computer. But back on the 28th of August as well, the Rockies beat the Marlins 8-2. Freeland in that game, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He's been pretty good, guys. I mean, August was a little bit up and down for him. He had that stinker start against the Braves on the 11th where he went 3 2/3 innings pitched. And then previously before that on the 6th of August against the Mets, only 4 2/3. But since then, this is now 5 consecutive starts where Kyle Freeland's gotten at least 5 innings. He went 5 against San Diego, 6 2/3 against the Yankees, 6 full against Miami, 5 full against Atlanta, and then follows it up tonight with a 6-inning outing. Nice performance, 3 hits allowed. Again, no earned runs and 4 strikeouts. So you like to see that. So hopefully a sign of things to come, not just for the rest of the season, but leading into next season for Kyle Freeland, because the Rockies can use any sort of stability that they can get in that rotation right now. And if Kyle Freeland can pitch like this, 4 out of every 5 starts, you're going to live with that. So nice stuff from Kyle Freeland. Let's see if he can keep it up here for the Rocks. But I think what's even more impressive is the Brewers only had 3 hits in this game, and all 3 came from when Kyle Freeland was on the mound. So what that means is the Rockies bullpen was clean. The Rockies bullpen was sharp in this game, guys, and you absolutely love to see that. I know that Tyler Kinley, the experiment hasn't always gone according to plan. There was that awful loss a couple of weeks ago, but he picks up his 11th save of the season. Just a clean 1 inning across the board, 1 strikeout, boom, boom, boom. High pressure situation for Tyler Kinley, but he gets the job done once again out of the bullpen for the Rocks and secures that 4-1 victory. And, the bullpen today was just on point. Seth Halverson taking care of business, 1 clean inning for him, 1 strikeout. Shavili, 1 clean inning, 1 strikeout. And then, as I mentioned, Tyler Kinley, 1 clean inning, 1 strikeout. So the Rockies bullpen and relief pitchers kind of mirroring themselves today. But, this is a potent lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers. Again, one of the better teams in the National League. They're going to win their division and they're going to be in the playoffs. So for the Rockies to go out there and take 2 or 3, and that's the thing, even yesterday's loss was at least competitive. It's not like they got blown out. It's not like they look like the classic Rockies where we've seen them just kind of roll over and just be uncompetitive in these games. So I don't know what's up. The strikeouts have been an issue. Today, thankfully, they weren't, but collectively over the course of the last 3 weeks or so, or really the entirety of the season, they've been a massive issue. But today, just a nice win for the Rocks as they clamped down only 6 strikeouts for their lineup and clean pitching. I mean, when's the last time that you can look at a Rockies pitcher's box score and be happy, like legitimately satisfied, like not just with the starters or not just with the relievers, but like both, where you have great outings from Kyle Freeland, and then you got 3 relief pitchers in short order that each just work a nice clean inning on their own, and away we go. So you love to see it, and at least boost the morale a little bit for the Rockies here down the stretch, right? I mean, they could just easily roll over and just try to get to the end of this season, but they're still going to fight. They're still going to come out there and play every day, and Hunter Goodman and Sam Hilliard responsible for driving in those runs and picking up Kyle Freeland as he gets the win, his 5th win of the season. And he is now 5-7 on the year. As I mentioned, Tyler Kinley, his 11th save, and all around just good stuff from the Rockies, in my opinion. So you love to see it. All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, man, this show is flying by. Let's put a bow on the show. I'll give you some of my thoughts about this game as well, the series in general, and we'll take a look at what is coming up for the Rockies here in their next series. All right. Stick with us, folks. We'll hit a break, come back, and do just that right here on your Locked On Rockies. I almost said Broncos. Locked On Rockies postcast. Back in a few. All right, you guys, let me tell you about the fine folks over at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to customers in the USA. And again, guys, millions of parts for your MVP. Win every time with the parts that fit your ride over at eBay Motors. And I've got my ride or die, man. I'm still driving the first car that I've ever had. I don't got no car payment. And thankfully, she's treated me pretty well throughout her life cycle. But if anything, and I mean anything that is fixable, comes up with my car, you best believe I'm going to go personally check out our friends over at eBay Motors, because you go back to the dealership and they want to rip you off on parts. Sometimes you can't really trust some of these mechanics because they like to run it all up. But at the end of the day, if you know what's wrong with your car and you know exactly what you're looking for, millions of parts for your MVP, you can win every single time with the parts that fit your ride at eBay Motors. So keep that ride or die alive. Let them know that Locked On Rockies sent you, and be sure to check out eBay Motors today. Welcome on back into your Locked On Rockies postcast. I'm your host, Aniello Piro. You can follow me on social media at Media by AP. Hope everybody is doing well out there. It's a little bit of a victory show today as the Rockies take down the Milwaukee Brewers 4-1. And guys, make sure to subscribe to that Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. Locked On Broncos postcast coming up in just a couple of hours, hosted by yours truly. We'll talk about Bo Nix's debut. Broncos defense looking pretty good in the first half. As soon as I'm done with this, I'm getting caught up again on the game. So make sure to stick with me. I'll be right here. Same shirt, same hat, same thing. And we'll do it all for the Broncos again. So appreciate you guys tuning in with me. But today, I think when you take a look back at it, if you would have told me that the Rockies would beat the Milwaukee Brewers 2-3, I would have said that you're crazy. If you would have told me that before the first game on Friday, just because of how this team has been playing as of late. But, they get demoralized against Atlanta. They lose, 2-3 to Atlanta, 3-0, 5-2. They win the final game of the series 3-1. Lose that 3-game set to the Orioles, 5-3, win 7-5, lose 6-1. you even lose a series to the or you split the series. It was a 4-game series against the Miami Marlins. And, so it's been up and down for this Rockies club. I mean, this is their first series victory since the San Diego Padres at the end of August, or that might even be the middle of August. Hold on, let me check here real quick. When they took 2 or 3 at home at Coors Field. So, yeah, this was in the middle of August. August 18th was the final game. So let's do some quick math here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they went 5 consecutive series without winning one before they take care of business today against the Milwaukee Brewers. And that's the thing. Like, you're telling me that they managed to win a series against the Brewers, but they can't win a series against the Marlins. And I know it's a 4-game set, right? So you can have the split. There's no, forced winner or loser just because of the math there. But I did not think that the Brewers of all teams would be the ones to get the job done. So it is what it is. Like I said, at this point in the season, you gotta take the wins however you can get them, and we got to see what the Rockies are going to be able to do here the rest of the way down the stretch. But loved the effort today from Kyle Freeland. Loved the outing. I just spent the majority of the last segment talking about him. And, he's going to probably be a Rocky lifer, right? Like, as long as he's serviceable and still pitching well, even if he has his ups and downs, which is inevitable, Dick Monfort, I would think, is going to keep him around. I think Kyle Freeland wants to be here. And so, I've loved what I've seen from Kyle, as I mentioned, since he's come back up from the injured list, because he got out to that awful start, ERA in the double digits, and has done nothing but clamp down for the most part. There's been a couple of hiccups here or there, but I think the body of work for Kyle Freeland post-injury has been fantastic. So hopefully that's going to be continuing here down the stretch for the Rocks. But also the lineup tonight, guys, I said Charlie Blackmon, this could be his swan song, but they get a dozen hits. Everybody for the most part contributing at some capacity or another. Jake Cave and Ryan McMahon, the only players without a hit in this game today. No Brenton Doyle in the lineup as well, which I think also makes it this win a little bit more impressive, just because we know how integral and vital Brenton Doyle is to this club. He made that incredible game-ending play on Friday where he caught the fly ball from Rhys Hoskins and threw an absolute dime to third base to turn a double play and end the game for the Rockies to get the first victory of the series. So, the fact that Brenton Doyle wasn't in there today and everybody else was able to pick up the slack, a couple of, lesser known names, guys that you aren't expecting to produce or be direct reasons for victory in Sam Hilliard and Hunter Goodman today. So, a little bit of the odds cast from the cast of characters today, helping the Rockies get themselves the dub. So we'll see what that means for the Rockies in their next series. Let's take a look at what is coming up next for Colorado. Again, guys, it is September the 8th. So just not a few, but, a handful of games left here down the stretch before this season comes to a close. The Rockies will be off tomorrow, and they'll have a real opportunity, in my opinion, to make this 2 series victories in a row, because they're about to start a series with the Detroit Tigers, who are a 500 ball club this season, 72-71. So not quite as bad as they have been in the last few years and whatnot, but we'll just have to see how it all shakes out. It'll be Bradley Blaylock on the mound for the Rocks in game 1. He'll go up against Keter Montero, the starting pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. He is 4-6 with a 5.47 ERA and 60 strikeouts for Blaylock. He's 1-2 with a 5.40 ERA and 16 strikeouts. Blaylock up and down, uses a reliever, but has been, this has got to be at least his 3rd or 4th start in a row now, I would say. Taking a look at it last time out, he actually got hit pretty hard by the Miami Marlins. Only went 4 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs. Only 6 of them were earned. I shouldn't say only, but 6 of them were earned. And he walked 1 as well. But Bradley Blaylock's had some fine moments. He was decent on the 24th of August against the Yankees. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He went 5 2/3 against San Diego. Gave up 6 hits, only 1 run in that start against the Diamondbacks as well. On the 12th of August, 5 2/3, 6 hits, 3 runs. So not earth-shattering numbers, but serviceable numbers for Bradley Blaylock. So we'll see if he can keep that up in Tuesday's game against the Detroit Tigers. That would be awesome if he could do that. And for Montero, the starting pitcher for the Detroit Tigers, let's take a look at his last time out here. His last start came on the 4th of September. Got hit pretty hard against the San Diego Padres. 4 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned. Did allow a home run, walked 2, struck out 2 in that game. So that is your pitching matchup for Tuesday as the Rockies get ready to take on the Detroit Tigers in a series that I think is very winnable for Colorado, which is going to be on the road here once again as this season rolls along. But all right, that was a fun one. Little victory show. Rockies taking care of business against the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll see if they can keep the winning rolling when they take on Detroit coming up this week, starting on Tuesday. And that's all she wrote. So that's going to do it for me, folks. Appreciate you guys for listening in, tapping in. Make sure to subscribe to the Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. You can also follow me on social at Media by AP. That way you guys never miss an episode of your Locked On Rockies, Buffs, and Broncos postcast. I'll be right back here on the channel as soon as the Broncos game today is over. Bo Nix rookie debut. It should be a good show. We'll break all that down for you on your Locked On Broncos postcast. So make sure to subscribe, follow me on social, and we'll talk to you guys in a few.